Mesdames et messieurs,
The greatest festival of our contemporary society, the Olympic Games, is about to begin.
This is going to be close.
Oh! They're all completely gassed! They've given it everything on the global bucket! Oh, yeah! Go! Oh!
Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. But that is an Olympic championship.
Ready?
Hello and welcome to another episode of Keep the Flame Alive, the podcast for fans of the Olympics and Paralympics. If you love the games, we are the show for you. I am your host, Jill Jaracz, joined as always by my lovely co-host, Alison Brown. Alison, hello, how are you?
I've got my ice skating cheerleader outfit on because we're talking hockey.
Oh. And, the ice skating cheerleader outfit really, that's like a forward promo for next week because we are talking hockey next week as well. And there were cheerleaders involved.
Yeah, but I don't want to be one of those cheerleaders.
Yeah, I understand
That didn't work out very well for
that.
them. But we're talking women's hockey. We're talking para ice hockey. And you know how excited I get when we talk about hockey.
You're going to be so excited that you talk about sled hockey. Because it's hard. They're still calling it sled hockey too.
I know. They assured me I was not insulting them by calling it sled hockey. So I was like, well, now that you've given me permission.
Well, first, before we get into Ice Hockey Talk, we would like to give a shout out to our patron of the week, who is Stanley Yang. Stanley's been a patron for a long, long time.
This is a name we know well. So Stanley, we love you.
Thank you. And Stanley was great because he'll go back when he misses the games. And I think I would not be mistaken, hopefully, if this applies to you too, listener. When you miss the games, you go back and listen to a daily episode. And
just need that refill once in a while.
Right.
Over those 2 empty years.
Yes. So Stanley is one of those people who likes to do that from time to time. So we appreciate you, Stanley. We appreciate your support so much. If you'd like to be an ongoing patron of the show, you can learn more about that at flamealivepod.com/support. We also have a fundraiser to talk about those. So your funds may be divided, but we still need your support. The patron money goes to keep the show going and pay for operating costs throughout the year. We're having a special fundraiser to get to Milan, though.
Yes, so that is at flamealivepod.com/Milano-Cortina-fundraiser. And that is the special expenses that it takes to, well, hope for
anyway,
how we work.
But we are having another fundraiser specifically to get us to Milano Cortina.
Yes, so that is at flamealivepod.com/Milano-Cortina-fundraiser. And that's for the special expenses, because when we do daily shows, we're going to have 32 of them during the Olympics and Paralympics. We got to get there. We got to get around. We got to eat something. Not that we eat much.
No, that's very true.
Honestly, during the games, we're eating like rolls and a piece of fruit. But
it is an incredible weight loss program, I will say.
That and running around with the giant backpacks. But yes, it gets very, very expensive. But we want to be able to do the daily shows for you, our amazing listeners, because we know a lot of you are not going to Milan. It's in the middle of the school year. It's in the middle of work time. So, but we will be there and making daily shows for you. But it does get expensive. So if you can help us out there, that would be amazing and keep our flame alive all the way to Italy and back.
That is correct. Thank you. And thank you for everybody who's kicked in so far. We have made really good headway on our goals. So we really appreciate all of you who have donated so far. And we cannot wait to bring you the show from Italy and let you know what it's really like there. Today, speaking of getting ready for Italy, we are talking ice hockey. We're talking Olympic ice hockey. We're talking Paralympic ice hockey. So first off, we're going to talk about women's ice hockey and the Rivalry Series, which is USA versus Canada. It kicked off in Cleveland, so I was able to get accredited for that, which was great. Thank you, USA Hockey, for allowing me in. We were allowed to go to practices during the week and the game, which was on a Thursday. This year, is the 6th iteration of the Rivalry Series. It started back in 2018-2019, and going into this year, Canada had a slight edge in the overall standings. They've won 10 games to USA's 9. And then when you look at overtime wins and losses, they're tied. So this is a really, really tight matchup, and they play 4 games, and you look at that and go, okay, what does it look like going into Milano Cortina? Because this is highly likely to be one of the medal games, or at least a very, very good matchup. We don't cover a lot of hockey here on the show. Para ice hockey is different, but we don't cover a lot of stand-up hockey.
This is true.
Part of it's because it's got a lot more exposure, at least in the U.S. and other countries, because we do have pro hockey. Part of that is because, and I will not speak for you, because I have been a fair weather hockey fan. I will watch it. I've lived in cities that have hockey teams. Cleveland has minor league hockey, but I have not been yet. I'm still trying to figure out what to talk about when you talk about hockey. There are some team sports where I go like, I don't know how you develop strategies because you're all kind of running around reacting anyway.
And hockey is different because we don't know who the players are going to be, certainly on the men's side, until kind of the last minute. So
Right.
it is hard to see how this is all going to play out. But I could talk hockey 24/7, let's be honest.
Oh, that's good. That's good. So, like, trying to dissect it for the podcast and for you, the listener, what I couldn't figure out what to do, like what to talk about. And that's tough when you want to get interviews, because how do you figure out what to talk about? But this experience really helped me out. And I went to the team's first practice on Monday, November 3rd, watched a lot of small group drills. And as I looked at the roster, I realized that goalies are different. And I wanted to talk to a goalie. Those players don't tend to show up at the Team USA Media Summit. And so I asked and got a short interview with one of the 3 goalies on the roster, Ava Mc Naughton. Ava plays for the University of Wisconsin. She has served in the net for the 2024 U.S. Collegiate Select Team during the Six Nations Tournament and skated for the U.S. at one IIHF Women's World Championships, where the Team USA took gold. So Ava broke down some of the details about goalkeeping for me. Take a listen. You're lefty.
Yes, I catch left, yes.
That was my first question.
Yes.
Catch left, stick right. It is more the dominant hand needs to be the more the action happens with your glove. Is that correct?
I would say I catch left because I used to play softball when I was younger, and so obviously I throw righty, I'm right-hand dominant.
Oh, okay.
So I'm used to catching left for like softball and things like that.
Okay.
But if I was a player, I would shoot right, but because I catch left, I have to shoot left as a goalie.
What does shooting left mean for you?
So as a goalie, I have to shoot left. So and I shoot double overhand.
Okay.
That's how most goalies, I think,
Okay.
play the puck. So I have to shoot left because I want to catch with my left. So I have, like, my curve is a lefty. But if I was going to be a player, I actually, like, can't shoot left with a regular stick. I have to shoot right with a player stick.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. What drew you to goaltending?
I was in, like, cross-ice mites, and I was at the age where you just start, like, passing the goalie gear around the team. And so each week it was someone else's turn. And I remember it was my week to be the goalie, and I was just, like, jazzed up about it all week. And I loved it the first time I did it. And after that, I was just, like, almost hoping that someone wouldn't be there for their turn so that I could be the fill-in. And I think back then, I think it was probably just cool to have the gear on and just kind of be, like, the odd man out almost and kind of be unique. But now I think the main thing that I like about goaltending is how much impact you have on the game. And you really have the ability to, you know, make or break it for your team, which can be a lot of pressure, but I think that it's something that you kind of grow to love. So, yeah.
You're also relatively tall. Mm-hmm. How is that? Because you can cover more of the net with your body, but your muscles are also longer.
Yes.
So what do you do to work on reaction time and things like that?
Yeah, I think you definitely can see it. You know, taller goalies play a little different than a shorter goalie just because you don't necessarily have to come out of the crease as far, so you can kind of make it a shorter push for a lateral play, and it's definitely helpful, like, percentage-wise, just how much net you take up. But yeah, I think there's definitely a component to it where, you know, it takes a little bit longer for my legs to come in than, you know, Aaron's might. So it's just kind of adapting to what you have, but also I don't know any different, so I think it's just kind of always been something I've grown up with and kind of just known.
What do you do for flexibility?
I honestly have really been a pretty flexible person my whole life. I wouldn't say I really necessarily do anything to make me more flexible, but I think as I've gotten older, they call it like strength at length. So like having a lot of strength and stability at length and positions is really important, just because, you know, it's important to be stable, you know, almost in a split, or, you know, reaching to the right, to your right or to your left, and then maybe even trying to push back. And so I think that ability to be strong and powerful at a lengthened position is something that I focused on a lot.
So what kind of exercises do you do?
That's a good question for my strength coach, but I kind of just do what they tell me to do, and yeah, that's kind of what I do, because they're, you know, awesome at their job, so I kind of follow the program, and, you know, if I have an idea or something I want to work on, they definitely take to it. But definitely, obviously, a lot of single leg movements, a lot of lateral kind of stuff, and it definitely depends on the equipment that we have. But at Wisconsin, we're really fortunate to have a really beautiful strength facility, so we have a lot of cool toys and things that we use. We use the 1080 a lot, which is like I don't even know what it is, but that's what we use a lot, and it's pretty cool. So yeah.
When the puck is at the other end of the goal, or other end of the ice, how do you focus? What are you focused on?
I'm honestly, most of the time I'm looking at what the other team's doing and seeing, you know, if we're about to turn it over, if they have someone slicing through the middle, if you know, if we're going to have a potential odd man situation. I think that's what I'm mostly looking at. And then obviously like when we're kind of cycling it in the zone, I'm kind of just watching our team, but then once it starts to be a little bit more of a 50-50 puck, I'm looking at what they could potentially have coming down the ice, and then you know, if they do exit the zone, then I'm looking at how many people they have, how many people we have coming back, and what hands their people are, and, you know, if they could be a potential one-timer, if it's a shorter play or kind of a longer play, if it's people on their strong side. So yeah, definitely a lot to take in all at once, but it kind of happens in a split second.
So for practice, they had all the skaters here and all the goalies were separated. Do you listen to like what they're talking about tactically to kind of think about how you would defend that?
Yeah, I think there is definitely an advantage to, you know, we had like shooting sessions at one point, and obviously we weren't really learning how to shoot, but they were teaching them how to, you know, shoot more powerfully and quicker and all that kind of stuff, and just kind of taking it in and seeing what they're looking for, I think is helpful for us to, you know, be able to recognize it and see it, because, you know, players evolve so quickly these days, and the sticks are so, you know, so advanced, and they're able to get a lot on their shots, so it's, you know, you want to get any edge you can, and so it's kind of the same thing on the other end. It's a lot of players enjoy doing goalie world with us, and they can see, you know, what our goalie coaches are looking for, and they can see like where we might be vulnerable. So I think it's kind of a balanced relationship where we can learn stuff from them and they learn stuff from us.
What is more satisfying to stop? A big slap shot or one of those dribblers?
Oh, a slap shot for sure, yeah. Yeah. I feel like a lot of the time too, it's, you know, it's a loud noise, big wind up, and it's fun to be able to make a big save like that, yeah.
How hard is it to move that goal off its little posts?
It depends on what pegs are in it. In games, they're drilled into the ice pretty far, probably like 3 to 4 inches, so, and then it's 3 or 4 inches into the post as well, so I think those ones are pretty hard to push off for me, but it comes off easily. Like if a player were to slide into it, it would come off, just for like safety reasons. But in practice, we don't normally have them drilled in just because we move the nets around a lot. So they're a little bit easier to move, especially in like a youth rink. They're pretty small pegs. They're only maybe, you know, 3/4 of an inch. And so when you have someone who, like me, who's pretty tall and has a lot of mass, it's pretty easy to push them off, especially with how much power you're trying to come off the post with to be able to make saves coming off the post. But, you know, you try not to knock it off on purpose because it kind of ruins the fun and moves the net around. So,
what do you like the ice to be like in front of your goalie? Because I know a lot of goalies like scrape it up and stuff.
I don't necessarily scrape it up a lot. If it's really wet, I will, to try and, you know, get some of the water off, just because it kind of like soaks your pads and it's not the most enjoyable experience. But I don't really scrape it up a lot, maybe like a couple each way, but not a ton. And I sweep it off like all the time. I don't like when there's like a lot of snow on it, which I think is pretty universal.
Why?
It kind of slows you down a little bit. Probably not a ton, but also it's just kind of part of my routine at this point. You know, like the whistle blows, and I don't like just like standing there. I normally do something. The options are normally skate to the corner, get water, or sweep the crease off. So, and also like the ice crew comes out and does it too. So it's nice to just kind of have it clean and kind of organized almost.
Do you notice a difference in ice quality from like when you played as a kid versus college versus international?
Yeah, there's definitely a difference. Especially at Wisconsin, our rink guy is really good at what he does. He has all sorts of technology in the ice to see the thickness of it and how cold it is in different spots, and he's really good at maintaining it. And it's definitely pretty impressive there. And then when you go home to play at youth rinks and that kind of stuff, obviously they're cutting the ice multiple times a day and just trying to turn it over as quickly as they can. So it's a little bit less of a science and more of just a one after another. So it's definitely a little bit choppier. It's almost like a little bit sticky, I'd say. And sometimes it might be a little rough and like you can feel it on your pads, like it's just extra friction. So it's definitely nice to have nice ice, yeah.
Mm-hmm. How long does it take you to gear up?
Probably, if I'm like really trying to move, probably 8 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely not as fast as a player, but I've gotten faster as I've gotten older, and my skates are actually, I have the Bauer ones that are almost like a ski boot kind of, so it's not laces, so you don't have to tie them, so it's definitely a...
Why do you choose that option?
I like how I get them to feel the same every time. With laces, you might tie one tighter than the other on accident and it doesn't feel right, or they kind of loosen up as you go. As you keep skating, they get a little looser. But with the Bauers, it's kind of the same fit, the same feel every time, which is nice for the consistency part of it.
Do you sharpen your own blades?
No, our equipment managers do. Yeah.
When did you get to not have to do that anymore?
I've never sharpened my own skates.
Really?
Yeah, I think most players don't typically sharpen their own skates.
Okay.
It's normally done at like a hockey shop or if you have an equipment manager typically. So I've never actually even learned how to do it. So yeah.
One last question. What's different between international play and college play?
Well, I haven't had a lot of experience at the international level.
But like the difference, did you notice a difference the first time when you went to World Champs?
I mean, yeah, like it's the best players in the world, coming together. So it's almost like, it's the best players out of our best NCAA players plus, players who are, 10, 12 years older than me. So it's definitely an experience to kind of change the pace and try and, push myself to compete with that pace and be able to develop into a goalie who's able to maintain my play under more pressure and more speed. So it's been a learning experience for sure, but even just since April at my first event, I think it's definitely been a lot of positive improvements and feel a lot more comfortable at the speed, and so it's been fun so far. So yeah.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much.
Yeah, absolutely.
I will.
Thank you so much, Ava. Then we got to first game, which was on November 6th at Rocket Arena, downtown Cleveland. That's where Cleveland's minor league hockey team plays. And so the arena, the top part was all flagged off. And you're talking about the lower 2/3 of the bowl, I guess. And I would say it was about 3/4 full, a lot of little kids. I did hear some talk amongst people I knew that the low ticket price was $40. And that was a little too high. It's a little too high for some people. And that's not the low. Like if you're looking at the men's team, they've got a low ticket of $26, but that's in the upper tiers. So,
right.
Like,
you know a little bit more what you're getting, I guess, with men's hockey. Just more people.
Yeah.
More people are more familiar with it. And if you have, a family of 4 at $40 a pop, that gets really expensive really quick.
Right. And I didn't know if they did something special with group sales because there were a lot of like girls hockey teams were there and they were so excited kind of thing. It was really cute. But it was one of those conundrums where I wondered if the prices had been lower, would you have sold more seats? They did marketing outside of and the hockey team community. But I kind of wondered, like, that's a big chicken and the egg conundrum you have when you're setting ticket prices too, I bet. But it was a fun game. People really got into it. Ava Mc Naughton sadly did not dress for the game. So I was on the lookout for someone else to talk to and add to our Team Keep the Flame Alive roster. May have done that. Don't know yet. We found out that Team USA, Coach Robluski, in the mix zone after the game, he said that Team USA tends to win the first 2 games of the Rivalry Series, and that was the case here. Canada did get out to a 1-0 lead in the first period on a power play goal, and then Team USA answered like seconds later. And then that was it. It was all Team USA, 2 goals in the second, 1 in the third. They won 4-1. For Team USA, Abby Murphy had a hat trick, which is pretty. She had just an amazing night. And then Taylor Heisey got the other goal, and lots of people assisting and all of that. Press was in a corner for the match. So for 2 periods, it was on the side of the ice where Canada would be scoring. So I ended up seeing a lot more defense. And for some reason, and I will say this is my own ignorance about hockey playing, even though I've watched a lot, there are different positions on the ice. And defense players don't have to stay back. So it was one of those like, well, all 5 of them are on the ice everywhere. They're all everywhere all the same time. But I didn't realize that 2 of them are defensive players and they stay closer to the center line or they're further back, but they can also score. So where I was sitting at the Rivalry Series, I got to see more defense going down. And one defender caught my eye, little bruiser named Rory Guilday. And not even a little bruiser. She's giant. She's really big. She's really...
a defense woman is never going to be described with the word little.
No, she's very tall. And I did love watching her whenever she was on. She was the 5th line. So did not get a ton of playing time. But when she was out there, she was like grabbing arms, grabbing sticks, doing a little Jocelyn. Oh, it was so much fun to be like, oh, you are the bruiser. So I wanted to talk with her, and Team USA got me a few minutes with her after the game was over. Rory has played for Cornell University. She recently got signed by the Ottawa Charge in the PWHL. She's been on a number of Team USA rosters, including the 2024 Six Nations tournament. She's been on 3 Women's World Championships teams, winning a gold and 2 silvers. She was on the Team USA roster in the run-up to Beijing and got cut on the final cut. But Rory is still playing for a spot on the Olympic roster for sure. Got a few minutes with her. Take a listen.
My name is Rory Guilday.
Okay, you play defense.
I do.
Defense are in pairs. Is that important? Do you work together as a pair?
Most definitely. Your
Okay.
D partner is probably your greatest asset, and you always are constantly working off each other, and we like to talk about balancing, which just... when one is up, one is back, and, kind of like a piston, and working together and communicating, it makes things work.
Okay. Did I notice tonight that you were with different people
Yes.
as your partner? Okay.
Yes,
How
that
was
is not unusual. We gotta learn to adapt and work with one another, and that's where communication is huge, because maybe we didn't practice as much with the person you're out there with, but we all know the same basics, and communication helps work out the kinks for sure.
What kind of communication? What are you saying to each other? Are you
Just like when there's pressure, when you need to push up, or if we need to pick up a man in the middle or something like that.
Okay. So with defense, you can also score because you're all down there.
Yep.
Do you typically stay back towards the center line or the blue line, or no? Wait, you're up all over the place.
Yes, indeed.
So what's up with that?
Basically, in the O zone, you kind of work as a 5-man unit, so it's not necessarily forwards and D, but rather you're working together. Anyone can score, and there's certain times when you tighten up, which I would put into simpler terms of, like, if you're on the blue line area, you get more towards the top of the circles. Just, it's very situational, and you're reading off each other, like I mentioned earlier, but yeah, 5-man unit, anyone can score.
Okay. Do you like scoring?
I do.
You have a hard
Yes.
slap shot, right?
Yes. If I'm able to use it, then I'll use it.
How did you develop that?
Lots of work in the gym, lots of work in the shooting room, and grip strength.
Grip strength. What else in your body is doing the slap shot?
It's your whole entire body, like a lot of the power actually comes from your hips and like your glutes and thighs and stuff, and one fluid motion.
Okay. Okay. Do you like being a bruiser? Do you think of yourself as a bruiser?
I do. I am tall and a large body out there and strong, and I have to use that to my advantage, and I think it's an asset of my game specifically, and I do enjoy it. I think it's fun.
Okay. Because how often do you get caught?
Not that often. I feel like I'm pretty good at keeping it clean. Maybe some other people have different take on that, but especially in college, like, I've been a larger body than all the other girls, so I've learned to keep it pretty clean and make it look like an accident, so, yep.
Is there much trash talk going on?
I feel like that more happens, like, in our offensive zone. Like, I don't really get involved with the trash talk. If I'm trash talking, it's not a good sign, because it's not good. It's not good.
You were in this position 4 years ago.
Yes.
Right. So what did you learn from that process, and how did you grow in the interim 4 years?
Yeah, I think just playing your game. What can you bring to the table? It's not about trying to be someone you're not, someone else, like one of your teammates, because that's not the reason you're on this team. You're on this team because you bring something to the table that other people don't. So focusing on that and doing that to your best ability, and I think just playing your game as a whole, and that's where I feel I find myself most confident, and when I'm just playing.
How hard is it sometimes to play your game?
Yeah, it's difficult. Like, I'm constantly impressed by my teammates and their abilities and their skills, and sometimes I'm like, ooh, I wish I could do something like that, but I'm like, they've practiced that, like, that's their asset of their game, and that's not necessarily mine in this moment, and so not gonna attempt that.
You just signed this is going to be your first year as pro.
Correct.
So how are you balancing Team USA versus pro commitments and moving to Canada?
Yeah, I just try to be where my feet are. When I'm in Ottawa, I'm trying to be present there and be with my team there and do what I can for them, and same goes for when I'm with Team USA. Being present, being with my girls, and being the best me I can be.
You have two different wallets with two different...
Pretty much.
That's what I can say.
Yep.
So do they give you time off, or is it just like you got to fit this team stuff on in your life somehow?
Yeah, obviously coaches, especially at this level, are very understanding. Like each team has national team players, so they're kind of used to it, and they do a good job of knowing when we need a break and when we don't, when we can roll with it. So yeah.
All right. Anything else we should know?
That's all I got.
All right, excellent. Well, thank you so much for taking a few minutes to talk with us.
Thank you so much, Rory. The Rivalry Series moved on to Buffalo on November 8th. Team USA won 6-1, and then they move over to Canada for the final two games in Edmonton, Alberta on December 10th and 13th. We will have a link to information for those two games in the show notes because tickets are available. And if you live up that way and go, let us know. Big thank you to USA Hockey. I will say this experience really helped me. Even though I saw hockey at Beijing, and even though I've seen pro hockey and watched hockey on TV, this experience really helped me understand how to approach the sport for our regular episodes. So I do appreciate that.
What is the biggest thing that surprised you in seeing it live?
Well, seeing that and seeing practice also was one of those there are different people doing different things. And talking about we heard from Rory a little bit about how much power you put behind a shot. Ava talked a little bit about sticks. I mean, there's a lot of other elements that go into hockey that aren't necessarily just what happened at the game.
Very much
because
so.
we aren't that kind of show. We don't do that kind of
feel about the game.
And they get chippy out there. They were getting Team USA and Team Canada getting chippy. Even though they play together, they're interspersed in so many ways. They're interspersed in college. They're interspersed on the pro level. And on their respective countries. Still, you get that mix of women together.
You get that flag on your jersey, and all bets are off, man.
All right, we're gonna move over to para ice hockey. We had a lot of fun at Team USA Media Summit, talking with some players. First up, Alison, you got to talk with Jack Wallace.
Yes, I got Jack Wallace for a few minutes in the middle of his round table, kind of waited for a couple of people to move on, and then I had him all to myself, poor thing. He did not know what hit him.
All right. Jack is a two-time Paralympian. He was part of Team USA's gold medal teams in 2018 and 2022, was named Best Defenseman at Beijing 2022, and he was also part of Team USA's win at the 2025 Para Ice Hockey World Championships. Take a listen to Jack.
I watched a lot of sled hockey in Beijing.
Nice.
And nobody does under the sled handling the same way that you do.
I think Declan's pretty good at it. I think he's pretty good at it.
Where does that come from? Was that your hockey play, before you were injured, or is that just you developed it as a sled hockey player?
I definitely developed that as a sled hockey player. I think it's it's definitely been more of a recent development. I think a lot of people are starting to catch on. A lot more people need to catch on, really. But using both hands and being effective with both hands in sled hockey it's a cheat code, because you're able to completely reposition the puck at any time. You're able to protect the puck at any time, and it's not our sticks are much shorter than stand-up players, so it's not like, because in stand-up hockey you can check someone and then immediately reach around them in either direction and make an attempt to steal the puck. In sled hockey, that's not possible. So yeah, definitely I've put an emphasis on it since after COVID. I injured my left arm. I had Tommy John surgery, so it was more of I basically continued the rehab process, like spending all that time on my left hand. I continued it in through my training process into Beijing and tried to develop my left hand as best I could.
What's changed since Beijing for Team USA? Because it's a lot of the same players coming back.
Yeah, I was going to say, we're just more experienced. It's almost the same roster that we had in Beijing, maybe three or four new players. So the majority of the team, the majority of the guys that will dress have already been to a Paralympics, which is pretty rare. So yeah, I think it's just more experience. The preparation will be even better, which is hard to say after how good the team felt and looked in Beijing. But I'm really excited. I can't wait. Obviously, I'm part of it, but I cannot wait to see how the team plays after residency when we get to Milan in the first game. It's going to be unbelievable.
You don't have the schedule yet?
We technically do have the
Okay.
schedule. It's not 100% set, but they have the seeding schedule set, and we know we're the one seed going into it. The last 2 or 3 seeds are kind of still up for grabs right now, but since we know we're the one seed and we know what the initial schedule is through this seeding, so we do know.
So who's your first team?
I believe we are playing... Seamus, do you know who we're playing first?
I don't know.
It might be China. It might be China. Are you not allowed to say it?
I don't know.
Okay, never
Okay,
mind.
Seamus doesn't
I
know.
don't want to get anyone in trouble.
No,
Okay,
that's
then
fine.
we'll
So
leave it alone.
if it's China, that's interesting, because obviously last time around they were kind of an unknown.
Yeah.
And the way you played them the first time versus the way you played them the second time was very different. Is that still true now? Like, they kind of disappear?
We actually just played them.
Okay, you did.
5 days ago. We were just at our first World Cup, so they've been much more active in the international community. They've been coming to a lot of tournaments, and I mean, they're getting better. They're a very good team. We think them and Czech probably have the most potential out of to either beat Canada or us. Like, outside of, it's always us and Canada, right? So it's been a long time since we've lost to any other team. We think Czech and China are kind of the two up-and-comers that pose the biggest threats.
And do they still play like an old-style Soviet team, or has the change in coach changed China?
Honestly, it has a little bit. I was very impressed with the way they moved the puck. It was certainly a less physical game than the last time we played them. But they were moving the puck very well. They clearly had some preset plays, which you don't always see in hockey, but they definitely had them, where we had to kind of, in the second period, our coach came in and we designed a counter against a play that they were running off of every faceoff. So that's kind of a cool thing to see, because you don't get to see that a lot in hockey. It's like, okay, off this type of faceoff, they're doing this, so we got to do this. So it's fun.
Did you get to watch any of the World Women's Championship?
Yes, yeah. I watched when they played, I think, Czech in the semifinal, and it was a really close game. And then obviously the gold medal game was fantastic. But yeah, no, I love that tournament. It's always fun to watch, and the USA-Canada rivalry holds true. And it's great to see all the young international players, right? Because I feel like a couple years ago there weren't really that many young studs outside of the US and Canada, and now I believe it's I'm forgetting her name. I think she's from Finland. She's unbelievable. She's one of the best players in the world, and it's just really cool to see the growth all over the planet.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Jack.
Thank you so much, Jack. And then we have Declan Farmer and Malik Jones, who sat down for an interview with us. Declan is a 3-time Paralympian, winning gold at 2014, 2018, and 2022, and was very, very young when he made the team.
He was 16 at 2014.
Wow. He also was in the 2025 Para Ice Hockey World Championships gold medal team. He was the first U.S. Para Ice Hockey player to score over 200 career goals. Declan hails from Tampa, which, as you may remember, is also where Team Keep the Flame Alive's other sled hockey player, Monica Quimby, is from. Malik Jones, relatively new to the team, joined them for the gold medal Paralympic win in 2022, and he has been in 3 world championships, including that 2025 win. Take a listen to our conversation with Declan and Malik. For the tape, please say your names.
Declan Farmer.
Malik Jones.
Thank you.
Are you on the same line?
Right now we're not, but we've played a lot together over the last quad kind of since Beijing. Because
you're both forwards, so does that mean you're on same side or opposite sides, or does it matter?
Yeah, it doesn't matter. It just really depends on what we're feeling, what team we're playing, and yeah, it really doesn't matter.
Yeah, hockey in general has kind of changed lately, where there's not like a set left wing, right wing. Everything is based on defensive zone coverage. It could be shifting weird, so you end up on different sides. On a different rush, you could down the ice, you could be crossing and stuff. So it's really everyone kind of has to be able to play everywhere on the ice.
Yeah.
What's changed for the team in the last 4 years and for each of you in the last 4 years?
I think what's changed for the team is just how young we're getting. There's constantly new young guys coming in, and it's cool to see that because I remember I was a young guy, and I'm pretty sure he remembers he was a young guy. So, yeah, it's good to see these young players coming in.
It is, yeah. I mean, everyone's getting better. It's, for me, just trying to, keep pace with a lot of the other guys' improvements. Malik's gotten so much better as one of the younger guys in the team, but, experience now having a Paralympic Games under his belt. And, yeah, it's about, these guys are so fast. So for me, it's I'm, pretty set in a lot of skills, but, speed's one thing. It's, I got to keep pushing and trying to keep up with the young guns.
We have heard that before because we interviewed Taylor Lipset a long time ago.
Yeah.
And he talked about that as you get older,
yeah,
that can be difficult. The level of skill on the team has improved so much since you started. How much more difficult would it have been for 16-year-old Declan
that's a
to
great
make
point.
it?
Yeah, it definitely would have been really difficult. Don't know. Maybe I would have made it at 16, but probably not when I made it at 14, 2 years before Sochi. So, yeah, it probably would have taken a couple more years. I mean, if the team we had now was played against our 2018 gold medal winning team, we would smoke them, probably 10-0 them. The sport's just gotten so much better. An average, everyone on our team now has skills that only a couple people had 8 years ago. The passing skills people have now really only Josh Mashevitz was doing in the Pyeongchang time. So sport has really elevated across the board.
I was just talking to Jack Wallace about his under the sled stick handling and puck handling, and he gave you a compliment saying you are as good as he is under the sled. And that seems to be what you're talking about, that new skill coming up that you didn't see that much even as late as Beijing. So besides that under
definitely.
the sled, what else are you seeing in the changes of play?
I think, how good guys are getting moving with the puck. That's one of the hardest things to do in sled hockey is to keep yourself moving while you have the puck because our arms are our arms and our legs. So I think, that's just improved dramatically, even from when I was my first year in Beijing. Even from then to now, it's even gotten so much better. And I can only imagine from when he started to now, it's drastic change. So yeah.
Yeah, that's a huge one for sure. I mean, back when I was before Pyeongchang, early college, that would be half of my individual practice was just practicing skating with the puck with my weaker hand. So those skills it's weird. They take such a long time to build up because it's a new sport. You don't as kids, you don't have coaches that really know what they're doing and the skill side of things. So you have to kind of learn a lot of this stuff on your own. And now I think we're just kind of growing it to where people are starting to figure it out now at a younger age.
Is that still true, or are you seeing a difference in the younger sled hockey players that there's just more of it around the country?
There's some that flash some skill, but I think it's definitely once you make the national team is kind of as a young player, that's when you start making your biggest improvements for a couple years and kind of being around top players and kind of seeing how they do things.
Is that what happened with you?
Before Beijing, I was training at home with local guys that weren't trying to compete for the team, but even then just skating. And then once I made the team and being on the national team and going through seasons, my play made a drastic jump. My puck handling skills, my awareness on the ice, my, even line changing. Line changing is a big thing in hockey. You got to know when, how quick your shift should be. And, I just think all across the board it's gotten better since being on the national team.
Now, line changes must be very difficult to practice because not every rink has the facility to do that for sled hockey. Oh, I'm supposed to say para ice hockey now. I know.
We say sled hockey still.
I've been saying sled hockey all day.
Sled hockey still.
It's a hard change.
It is. Yeah, so we really only get the reps in it when we're at tournaments and stuff. So I think those are kind of the things that you iron out just in the exhibition games and different cups, tournaments we play, like in the seasons between Paralympics and leading up to World Championships and whatnot.
Okay, I just in my head did the math that, Declan, you have been on the national team about the same time that you weren't on the national team as a child. So, I mean, you're still very young, but how beat up do you feel having done this for such a long time?
I honestly feel like better than I felt when 10 years ago. Just kind of focusing more on like longevity practices, stretching, like taking care, like strengthening my legs too. I walk with 2 prosthetics and never really trained my legs, and just kind of generally just becoming more healthier and focusing on that side of things, eating better. I mean, in Sochi, my diet was, toast and cereal in the morning, pizza and pasta for lunch, and pizza and pasta for dinner. So
we've known some 16-year-old boys. Yeah.
So I think I've improved there, and had some finger injuries and stuff, but fortunate not to have anything too crazy, and so just trying to stay healthy.
But Malik, do you have pizza pasta lunches, or do you come into this with a little bit better knowledge?
Yeah, being watching. I think going into sports, I've always been a sports nut, so I knew what went into being an elite athlete. So that's eating right, stretching, training your body to perform the best that you can. So I think my diet is pretty good. I think I take care of myself pretty well. There are some areas that I could probably clean up, but I think that's just being young. But as I get older, I think I will eventually clean those things up to preserve my longevity in the sport.
So we want to give a little love to the women's tournament.
Mm-hmm.
Did you get to watch the World Championships for the women?
Yeah. It was awesome. I mean, it's and they've been working really hard for this for a long time. So it's good to get an official World Championships under the belt, and hopefully that, continues to get other countries more involved. Now that they actually see it happen, maybe they'll be okay, now we'll actually invest in a women's team. So hopefully this is, just the beginning.
And speaking of other countries, obviously US and Canada is what we expect to be at the top. Who else is exciting / scary for you?
I think Czech and China are getting really good. We kind of struggled a little bit in the first period when we played China, but then our relentlessness and our pressure just wore them down. But they were showing signs of this could be a really good team. After the next quad. So those teams are coming up.
Because when we first saw China play, and everyone was like, "Oh, we've not seen China." And they were fast.
Yeah, they're so
and
fast.
So when you're in the back, or coaches are watching and trying to figure out strategies to play this team you haven't seen, or even, generally, because there's not a ton of streaming for para ice hockey. What's going on? What are team discussions like?
I mean, kind of we always are a focus on ourselves kind of team, but with China, I think you kind of realize quick they have absolutely zero discipline, and they're super fast and skilled, but they just they're still trying to figure out the defensive side of things. I mean, if they had Canada's structure, they would be tit for tat with us. Yeah. But they just don't quite have it all together, and I think they'll get there. They skate a lot. They have some really, really skilled players, but they just haven't quite put it all together yet. They'll beat Czech with their skill, they're kind of the third and fourth team. But then when a big game comes, Czech can put it together and pull it out against China, and China can't get it done. So I'm curious to see how that evolves the rest of the season.
So thank you so much.
Thank you guys.
Thank you so much, Declan and Malik. We'll have information on how you can follow everybody on social in the show notes. Are you ready? Are you ready for para ice hockey? Are you ready for all this?
I was ready 2 years ago. Vestiti nuovi.
Oh, yes, we will get to that in a minute. First up, Milano Cortina, the ticketing site reopened on November 13th. They said they will release new tickets every Wednesday. Look for new tickets in different price ranges. Sometimes some affordable ones will come up. Sometimes they'll be in the higher price ranges. More importantly, kit.
So Canada and Australia came out with their kit. Canada, once again, working with Lululemon, came out with that same dark red that they had with Paris. They have gotten rid of the blood spatter pattern, which was very helpful. But the one item I want to point out is they too have a wrap skirt / vest / blanket, just like that eagle blanket that we saw from Nike on the American kit. So
Wow.
I have a feeling this wraparound or sit on item is going to be possibly in many people's collections.
Interesting. I do like the dark red for winter. I really like it a lot. I think it's very sharp. I will say, as I'm glancing through the press release, and they've got a picture that is captioned, "Emma Malatis models the nylon taffeted insulated shacket that is part of the opening ceremony look." I honestly read that as snack it and went, "Oh, well, that is convenient."
Well, if it has enough pockets, we know that you bring snacks to the opening ceremony because it's a long day and they got to keep their calories up.
Right. So thumbs up, thumbs down.
I love the green and blue. They've mixed in some things to contrast with the red. I am concerned about the shacket and I'm concerned about the wraparound pieces, but like you, I do love the dark red as well.
Yes. And they've done a lot of adaptive clothing as well to, again, making sure that the Paralympians have clothes that work for them as well. I am also a little concerned about these very highly quilted green teal pants, the winter pants.
Yes. Why?
They have a lot of quilting.
Oh, you think they look a little puffy?
Yeah. Not puffy. I don't know. It's my aversion to quilting, I think. We'll
Okay,
see what
fair
we'll see what
enough.
they look like we'll see what they look like in person.
Well, there goes our, a sponsorship from Quilted Northern toilet paper.
Oh no, I would totally take it. I mean, that's totally different. Toilet paper, you want some quilting in there. On my body, you don't want to see quilting. But we have more kit for somebody else.
So Australia came out with their kit. Looks very familiar with that yellow and green. And they once again have the blazer with all the the Australian Winter Olympians sewn on the inside. So they're pairing it this time. It's a white version paired this time with a cable knit sweater and I think blue trousers. That jacket has become such a special part of the Australian kit. They kind of can never take it away now.
Right. It is very cool and very classic, very professional looking. They also have indigenous art elements, which is another factor that they continue to put on uniforms, which makes it really beautiful and very uniquely Australian.
My only concern is it doesn't quite look warm enough.
Very true, but maybe we'll be proven wrong. Maybe this stuff is ultra heated on the inside.
It'll be Aussie, 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 burr, burr, burr.
But wait, there are more uniforms.
Volunteer uniforms have come out. And this was the coolest thing because we got to, on our Facebook group, I got to tell somebody who was a volunteer that they are getting 17 pieces of clothing in their kit. This is a lot. And what they've done is everything is kind of interchangeable and mix and match so that it depends on what your job is. So obviously, if you're up in the mountains, you're going to put on all 17 layers. And if you're standing at the, in a warm press room, you can just have the long sleeve shirt and the trousers. And lots of pockets, lots of turquoise, lots of really fantastic colors, the blues and the turquoises, and lots of different pieces. Beanies, so many beanies.
I like this a lot. I think they will be distinctive and really stand out especially if you're looking for a volunteer for help. They will stand out in the crowd. That looks comfortable and it's stylish. The two different blues. Yeah, that Italian royal blue, the icier blue that comes with the Milano Cortina. It just looks really nice. So
Really sharp.
I'm
Nice job.
excited. I'm excited.
So do not wear anything royal blue because other people will start asking you questions.
Oh, they will quickly learn that I'm not a volunteer.
And turquoise, definitely probably another color to avoid so that nobody asks you questions in Italian.
More news from Milano Cortina. We got information about the closing ceremony.
We got the picture of the stage, which also is turquoise. I don't know if the picture was just turquoised as if it was supposed to be the lighting, but it's this beautiful sort of oval, almost eye-shaped stage with a lot of lighting behind. So really dramatic, as you would expect from the Italians. Very excited about these ceremonies.
Yeah, so the set design takes its inspiration from A Drop of Water, which is the whole curvature and the roundness of it. As the organizer said, all winter sports depend on water. So that is our main inspiration for everything. It's supposed to have a public square-like feel, so a lot of movement, a lot of ever-changing elements. There's seating on the main floor. Maybe that's where the athletes will go. Like in Paris, they had the athletes all around the stage area, so that could be cool. The show itself is going to be, quote, a fusion of opera, music, dance, cinema, design, and technology. And the show will be inspired by Italy's cultural and artistic wealth, an expression of its powerful balance between classicism and contemporaneity, and by the creative ability of Italians to transform aesthetics into emotion, end quote, from the press release.
So the title is Beauty in Action, and it is the first time a ceremony will be happening at a World Heritage Site.
Oh, very nice. Very nice.
De Verona.
The first artist was also announced, international ballet star Roberto Bolle. And
he'll get to wear shoes, unlike those poor people in Beijing for the handover ceremony. I'm still traumatized because I was, when I did dance in college, whatever, I was a barefoot girl, so I'm with them, but not when it was 20 degrees out.
Yeah, it was cold. That was a cold day. The creative team working on the Olympics closing ceremony is from the company Filmmaster, so it's led by President Alfredo Acotino, Adriano Martella, who's the creative director, Stefania Opipari, the show director, Stefano Cimiti, costume designer, Michela Braga, music director, Claudio Santucci, set designer. Michela, you have big shoes to fill after the music from Paris. I will say that. I am looking forward to hearing what music we get, which we haven't heard yet. We have not heard the music yet.
We have not gotten the song. We have not gotten the theme they'll play for the medal ceremony.
So excited.
The Italians have to do the music well. They have to.
I have my fingers crossed that it will be a very good Olympic thing. Because I do remember listening to Paris and laughing very hard. But once you saw it once you had a medal ceremony going along with it, man, was that perfectly timed. That was so good. That was so good. Perfectly Olympic. And if I work really hard, I can get together for a shared future in my head from Beijing. Anyway, we have the debut of the Row Speed Skating Stadium as well. This is a temporary venue built at the Fiera Milano Row Convention Center or Exhibition Hall, which will be called the Milano Ice Park during the games. The park will also have a temporary ice hockey arena that will serve as the secondary venue for ice hockey. The first test event is going to be the ISU Speed Skating Junior World Cup on November 29th and 30th.
Are we done with Milano news?
No, people, the flame lighting is next week. The flame lighting is next week. I cannot wrap my head around that.
We had a snow flurry the other day, and that got me ready.
Oh,
now
yeah.
I'm ready. Now I'm ready.
I'm ready. There are very many things where I'm like, oh, I'm very excited about that. Yes, it's turning cold, so you're feeling more winter. Am I prepared? No. Am I working on it? Yes. The flame lighting always gets me, though, because that is the big indicator that the games are coming, and they're coming soon.
What's so funny to me is I have no mental image of winter games flame lighting. I know we've seen them. We've covered now 2 winter games for the show, so I've watched them. But in my head is always the summer ones. So I have to watch this now a little closer and get it planted into my brain.
Okay, so there was a lot of things for why we don't remember Beijing. I don't remember really 2018, but I chalk that up to it being brand new for the podcast, right? 2022, the flame lighting happened in October, like 2 months after the games ended.
So our brains were exploding still.
Yes, our brains were totally exploding because we were coming off of the Paralympics in Tokyo doing daily episodes from the couch, which, multi-screening, that does take its toll. And then they had Thomas Bach was there, and just representatives from the IOC, the Greek and Chinese Olympic committees, and the president of Greece, and a few media people. And that was it for the ceremony. And yes, they still look like they did the big on ceremony that they typically do because the priestesses look the same, but it was so small that it probably did not register very much. And I'm sure we said, oh, the flame came, but it was just such a quiet event because of COVID.
This, not a quiet event.
No, it's going to be exciting. So on Wednesday, November 26th, the flame lighting ceremony will take place in Olympia and start its journey through Greece. And then on December 4th, and I will say, we will not have anything about this on next week's show because next week's show for us is Thanksgiving. We're going to tape it a little bit early. So be prepared that first week in December when they're handing it over from Athens to Italy on December 4th. We're going to be on that. And we're going to be talking. So I'm excited. That then the Italian leg of the relay kicks off in Rome on December 6th. It's going to cross every Italian region. It will go 12,000 kilometers in total through over 300 municipalities and have 60 celebration cities along the route. The torch relay convoy will be almost 200 meters long. It will move at 4 kilometers an hour, which I love these details. It's going to go from 7:30 in the morning to 7:30 at night. And at night, there will be a cauldron lighting at the final stop of the day and a city celebration.
Fantastic.
So, Coca-Cola and Eni are the two presenting sponsors of the program. So you know that they're going to have stuff there too.
Oh, do they have like the equivalent of the warm ginger Coke like China had?
I don't know.
We got to find out.
That would be nice. But I would imagine there's going to be special torch relay pins for sure.
Oh, yeah.
So be on the lookout for those if you can go. There is a dedicated website for the torch relay information so that you can follow along. We'll have a link to that in the show notes. Also, we are not done yet with Milano Cortina.
Well, that's what it's going to be like probably between now and then.
It's like they figured it out. Oh, we got to put news out. If you haven't seen it, they've got the Olympics app for Milano Cortina is up and running. We'll have a link to that in the show notes. It's got scheduling, ticketing information. And if you are going, buried in the more section is spectator information. Study that. There is very good advice about things like cell phone batteries and connectivity. And please do not expect I'm saying please do not, but they're like, yeah, the stadiums aren't going to have Wi-Fi, most likely, that you can get on. They will talk about like how to deal with ticket credentials and troubleshooting things like access to your mobile tickets if you have connectivity issues.
And how to dress because it will be a little chilly.
Yes. So pay attention to that. Food and drink allowances are going to be different for ceremonies and they're different for competition venues. The gist is that you will not be allowed to bring in much of anything. So just be aware that it's there and plan ahead with how to get there. But I spent a good amount of time looking at stuff on different venues because even for us, even though, yeah, we have accreditations, we need to know some stuff and how to get there. Even that helps too. If you're going, do know that there are different train companies in Italy, so they do different routes. And so sometimes they do link in this more section. They do link in the spectator information section to the train provider that gets you to different towns. So be on the lookout for that. It's all coming. It's all coming.
Ah, buongiorno.
We have some LA 2028 news.
1,000 days until the Paralympics.
Yes, it's 1,000 days to the Paralympics. So LA 2028 released its competition schedule. Very excited about this. And they released the Olympic competition schedule as well, but not today. the 19th of November. They've released that while we were going back in time to Sydney 2000. So we have 2 different competition schedules for you. Let's talk Paralympics first, because this is the big 1,000 days out today. Big changes from Paris. So this will be the first Summer Paralympics to have sports starting before the opening ceremonies. So we will now have a day -2, and that's Sunday, August 13th, when wheelchair rugby starts, and a day -1 when bocce starts.
Well, we all know where I'm going to be. And actually, we know now where you're going to be, because you did love some bocce.
I did love bocce. Bocce is a fun watch. Nobody's going to get eliminated before the opening ceremony. So that's good to know, because there was at Paris, like,
yes,
stuff was done, basically.
Yeah, some of the rugby guys were just sent home.
Yeah. So the opening ceremony will be in the 2028 stadium, which is what they're calling SoFi, unless they make a deal with SoFi, because now venues can have corporate names on them. The opening ceremony is on Tuesday, August 15th. That's the only thing on the schedule for that day. Then day 1, medals will be awarded in para-athletics, paracycling track, para-equestrian, shooting parasport, and wheelchair fencing. And then the closing ceremony is going to be at the LA Memorial Coliseum on Sunday, August 27th. It's a big day on the closing day. You've got finals for blind football, sitting volleyball, wheelchair basketball, and final competitions in para-athletics, para-badminton, para-climbing, and para-powerlifting. So we will see you, Bobby Body, on the closing day.
And then the Olympic competition schedule is totally upended. All your everything you thought you knew has been swapped around, because the big move is that swimming happening week 2, athletics happening week 1. And on day 1, you're going to have the finals of the women's 100 meter, and then day 2, the men's 100 meter. So kind of the biggest track competitions are happening right off the bat. First gold medal will be awarded in women's triathlon.
Yeah, usually that gets put in the middle of the show.
So the final medals will be swimming, the marathon events, which will be unfolding on days 15 and 16. They're calling day 15 Super Saturday, because that will be the most medals on a single day, including 15 matches in team sports and 15 medal finals in individual sports.
So 30 medals given out that day on Super Saturday, the day before the last day of the games.
Yes.
Whoa.
You better have some stamina.
Right? Oh my goodness. It'll be interesting to see how the flip of athletics and swimming goes. I'm really curious as to, I'm sure once we're there, it's not going to feel like anything.
Right.
It's just going to be, well, this is what it is. And that's going to be fun, but it is something to get your mind around. And I would imagine if you were a track and field person, you are no longer going to the opening ceremonies.
Right, because you don't have that week to recover, but now swimmers can actually go.
Right? Got to be fascinating.
Welcome to Shukflastan.
It is the time of the show where we check in with our team, Keep the Flame Alive. These are past guests and listeners of the show who make up the citizenship of our very own country, Shukflastan. We got results. It's competition time again.
Speed skater Erin Jackson took 2 silver medals in the 500 meters at the first ISU World Cup of the season, and those results included beating her own American record, and Erin also finished 8th in the 1,000 meters.
At the U.S. Curling Olympic Trials, wheelchair curler Steve Empt and his partner Laura Dwyer won the wheelchair mixed doubles, and they will be heading to Milano Cortina. So excited. He is excited too. Unfortunately, Team Schuster lost to Team Casper in the final game of their city series. They will not go to Italy at all. This is the first time in 20 years that John Schuster has not competed at an Olympics. And I will say it's not guaranteed for Team Casper either, because they still need to qualify the USA for a spot.
And sprinter Kenny Bednark's vlog, Kicking It with Kenny, kicked off season 3 with Kenny's 27th birthday celebration on a yacht.
We'll have a link to that in the show notes. Archer Casey Caulfield finished the GT Open Indoor World Series in 4th place.
results from the USA Fencing National Championships. Lauren Scruggs won Division I women's foil, and Hadley Hussisian won Division I women's épée.
And we have a new baby in Shuklistan. This is so exciting.
The best baby news I think we may have ever gotten. Modern pentathlete Samantha Schultz welcomed baby Evelyn K. Schultz on November 9th. Evie, as they have been calling her, came a little early, but mom and baby are home and well.
That is so exciting. Congratulations to Samantha and her husband. And we have a review of the week.
So Baba4949 on Apple Podcasts wrote, how do Jill and Alison make great shows week after week, month after month, year after year? I don't know, but they do. And I learn so much every week.
Thank you, Baba4949. If you have thoughts on the show, please leave a review on your favorite podcast app or comment on our social media pages. We're at Flame Alive Pod everywhere. Or you could drop us a line at flamealivepod@gmail.com. And we would love to feature your review here as well. And that is going to do it for this episode. Please do not forget to support our fundraiser and help the show provide you better coverage from Milano Cortina 2026. Thank you so much for listening.
And until next time, keep the flame alive.